Nine? Nine zines from Larned Justin? They're all classic zines. Hey everybody, it's Tom. It's FANzine Live. We are doing classic zines today here at FANzine Live, and I am going to share with you a haul that I received from my friend Larned Justin. Larned, as you may or may not know, is the co-host and I guess you would say technical guy behind the Talking Small Press Comics show over on Larned's YouTube channel. I did an interview with them, and it's hard not to get excited about talking comics with friends. And so at the end of it, Larned said, hey, can I send some material along to you and you take a look at it on your show? I said, I'd love to do it. And of course, it's been too long, but today we're going to open up the vault and see what he sent me. I'm going to put it into some collections, if you will. We're not going to go through every single comic, but he's got mini comics. He's got some digest comics. And then he's got some, if you will, more full-size professionally printed comics. So we'll start with the smallest and get to the largest. These are the Ben Dover comics. And to give you some background on Larned, he's a really great guy. He's got a great sense of humor and just kind of a hail fellow well met. And he clearly is an aficionado of comics over the years and of different types of comics. He's done, I think we even did a piece on one of his EC or public domain hero homage pieces. And in this group here with the Ben Dover series, he basically takes the one piece of paper, 4 panels, because he doesn't do anything on the back, folds it over, and he takes that and more or less does the conventions of a daily newspaper strip, the 3-panel strip, because of course the front panel doesn't look like he's got much going on. And so he has it essentially as a 3-panel strip turned into a 4-page mini comic. So we'll take a look at the first one here. Ben Dover, a short graphic novel. And yes, these are very short graphic novels. And the first one says, can I have a mustard stain on this? I have a mustard stain on this shirt. Can you get it out? Fun little cartooning. Very clear. Lettering is good. He doesn't dress it up any more than he has to. You know, all you need is a countertop and a guy bringing a shirt with a sign behind him, and you know you're at a dry cleaner. Then you know he's at a dry cleaner because he's got the hanger there. Anyway, it says, mustard is one of the most difficult stains to get out. I'll need the shirt for a month. Oh, well, okay. 1 month later, I'm here to pick up my shirt. They had a mustard stain. Okay, do you have your ticket? He said, I didn't get a ticket. Well, here is your bill. And it's $82. But I only paid $8 for the shirt when I bought it. But pretty cool. And he does that with, he's got 3 others where he does those as well. Next, we are going to take a look at a couple of these. This is Captain Awesome and his annoying sidekick Jimmy in Moonlight Nights. The other one is Inspector eBay of the Cairo Police. And that's not eBay like the shopping website, the auction website, but instead that's his name, just eBay, and there's no relation. But we'll do Captain Awesome first. Captain Awesome, clearly a superhero montage, bit of a satire, if you will. And I mean, you can take a look at it. The heroic hero, almost a Superman type pastiche with the annoying sidekick who you could take to be a Robin to a Batman type of relationship. But the neat thing about this one is Larned was allowed by his co-host of Talking Small Press Comics, Steve Keeter, to use his characters, the Beacon and Sunwing. So what you have here is not only Captain Awesome and his sidekick Jimmy, but you have the Beacon and Sunwing, and then together they form Tush, Tush, the unknown superheroes, and they have an interplanetary threat. This is a wonderful gag strip. Larned, does a great job of just playing with the conventions. Now, the thing I do find interesting, he must have had this thing scanned because there are dot patterns all over the blacks on this. Even on like the background blacks and the like. So I can't tell, maybe he just penciled this? Maybe he did inks? I'm not entirely certain, but regardless, it still reads well. I mean, nothing is illegible and everything makes sense. But it's an interesting reproduction, and I just was curious how it all happened. Anyway, the interplanetary outlaw gang known as the Moonlight Knights may be headed toward Earth, and so Jimmy and Captain Awesome get into it over using his minutes on his cell phone, but of course Beacon and Sunwing are right here. So the Moonlight Knights are here, and they're getting ready to run for the spaceship. They're going to go take on the Earth and control the Earth. So they're preparing for combat. The Tush guys are, but the Beacon, of course, says it's too early in the morning. He wants to go to bed. So your Moonlight Knights, just so you know their names: Dr. Crud, the Muck from Mars, Bean from Uranus, and Moog of unknown origin. And so Sunwing works on his solar blasts, and they blast a hole in the wall, and they make a joke about that. The Beacon has his power punch. I have my AR-15. AR-15 equals awesome rifle 15th version. I believe Larned's a veteran, but don't hold me to that. Then Tush. Okay, boys, there's the Tush command. Let's get them. So the Moonlight Knights are going to go take on the Tush guys. Beacon tries to offer up a power punch, but this guy, who I think is the Muck from Mars, has a force field around him. But don't worry, I have a force field undoer version 2. And as you can see, he undoes the force field. And what he does not know is that I knew he had his G71 SD, and his FU2 is useless against my G71. So, I mean, they're going back and forth, and they're just having fun talking, about the gadgets. And then they flipped it so that the force field actually then went in the wrong direction. They used it on the guys, the heroes from Tush, except for, of course, Jimmy, because nobody really forgot Jimmy. And the Moonlight Knights run away, and the Tush guys save the day, and Jimmy embarrasses himself. Cute little book. And then the other one is Inspector eBay. This gets into a theme that I've noticed about Larned. Larned loves doing mystery capers, kind of the surprise, almost a whodunit type of thing. And as you can see in this one, this is from 2021. I like that he tries different things. It looks like he did this maybe on like a 9x12, 8.5x11 type size sheet of paper, shrunk it down so his margins at the top and the bottom are a little tight, or a little large, excuse me. But he used maybe a word processor or something to try to get his lettering done. Helps out real nice. Not that his handwriting was bad, but I mean, this is nice. And so it's a bit of a whodunit. And Larned has a distinctive cartooning style that's a lot of fun. I mean, he, throws in his jokes. If we can find a way to short the connect wires, it will raise the parking lot. Short the red and blue wires. No, the green and orange. No, the pink and white. And the guy says, I got a screwdriver. They're just messing around. Okay, boss, it looks like the morons have parked in the police-only parking lot. So it looks like our bad guy is getting ready to take over Cairo, but tomorrow, the world. And of course, eBay saves the day, but you have not seen the last of me, eBay. Thanks for picking up this copy of Inspector eBay. This is my first comic in a number of years. After starting a Small Press Comics review broadcast with Steve Keeter, I thought I should get back into publishing again, and I'm glad he did. The Inspector eBay character was a character in a couple of Charlie Chung, the World's Greatest Chinese Detective comics I did around 2006 and 2007. Chung was a parody of the old Charlie Chan movies. I found that using Inspector eBay, I did not have to do a parody. I could dream up any type of crazy adventure that I wanted to, and I think it was a good idea because Inspector eBay is a lot of fun. Speaking of that character, Chong, this is Charlie Chong. So this is the pre-break Larned Justin, and this one was 2003. I'm gonna have to be. I want to be a little bit sensitive here. This comic book is a parody through use of satire, not intended to offend anyone. Can't we all just get along? I'd love to think we can. But of course, I've got to disclaim everything these days because that's just the world we live in. Humor hits harder, bites harder these days. So what I'm going to do is probably just skim this one real fast. He plays with the Asian stereotype of the old Charlie Chan movies. And it's really, he does a good job. I mean, he does the pidgin English and he does how the character looks. He does it to a T. It's just, it's not as acceptable these days. So I'm just going to go through. And as you can see, Larned's a great artist. I mean, look at some of this stuff. This is nice work. Does a nice job with the 4 panels here, you know, sleeping, or I guess not sleeping. Window's empty. Window's got the monster in it. The window's broken, and clearly the person's gone. And Larned, in addition to his cartooning, the other thing I noticed was he's not afraid to try poses that are tough. He's not afraid to throw in backgrounds that might take some time. So his artwork really does pay off. I'm really impressed. It's just, you've got to be aware of things these days. The last books. I saved the best for last. The 19th century detective is, while the character's name is Lane Brain, you would think, and this one is Professor John Leesburg, you would think that this is a humor book. It's really a good adventure mystery book done at the end of the 1800s. And so it's a period piece. It's a period detective piece, almost in the mode of like a Sherlock Holmes or something like that. And this particular issue, the big surprise for me was not only did Larned draw this, but he did the pencils, and the inks and letters were done by none other than the late Tim Corrigan. And I love seeing Tim Corrigan's artwork. He has a very distinctive line. He has a really clean style that complements Larned so well. You can see that's the character is drawn by Larned. That's the character is drawn by Tim, or is inked by Tim. And so it's neat to see how one artist interprets another. Neither is necessarily bad, but I do have a soft spot in my heart for Tim. And it's neat to see he collaborated with everybody, and I doubt he earned a penny off of any of his collaborations. He was the ultimate share and share alike, pay it forward type of artist. So anyway, Larned has created this world of different characters. So you've got Professor Leesburg, who's this guy. You've got Lane Brain, the detective, this guy. It's a classic little kind of murder mystery with an element of the supernatural. Love some of the work here, like the foggy night in, I think it's London. Don't hold me to it, but I think it's London. And in this case, they're trying to figure out what's going on. Clearly, it's a mental type of thing, and so they bring in somebody, a Dr. Daphne Knight, doctor in a fairly new field called psychiatry, and so they start talking about that. So, I mean, Larned has some smart awareness of what the developments in science and medicine were at the time, and integrating them into the story makes it all the more fun. Then talking about this wine called the Black Rose of Thorn, and how it may have something to do with I guess you would say, the inability to sleep, which causes him to have these visions in his head. It's really impressive. And then this. Larned draws horses. I've always heard that horses are among the hardest things to draw well. So good for him for taking a shot at that. Nice professionally published comic. This is a full-size comic, black and white interiors, white paper. Nice looking zombies there. But he is able to wrap it all up right at the end of the book. So it's a 32-page comic, and he throws in a little bit of a surprise at the end, which is always good. Makes the reader go back and think, what did I just read? So I don't want to give away too much, but if I was going to recommend one book right now, I probably would recommend this one. This was really top-notch stuff. And this one's not so bad either. As you can see, in this case, it's Dr. Leesburg. And it's a little more traditional book. This was a little more supernatural style or psychological horror. This one is the 19th century bad guys all get together and they're going to try to kill the queen. Dr. Leesburg has to stop an assassination attempt. Again, some nice stuff, some creative uses of shading. I like the panel combination, kind of put you ill at ease. And then there's Lane Brain. The silhouette work, the reverse silhouette work. I mean, he does some neat stuff. And that's a tough picture to draw. You've got people dancing, people in costume, people wearing masks, holiday scene, you've got an orchestra playing. I mean, Larned really thought this thing through. I like it. Fun action shot. Looks almost reminiscent of the images of John Wilkes Booth at Ford's Theater. So fun. Good stuff. So yeah, we've got a handful of books, all from Larned, and I am so glad that he sent them along. Thank you so much, Larned, and that's a lot of zines. This has been FANzine Live. These are classic zines. All, 9 of them. Thanks again for watching, everybody. I hope you like the video. Please feel free to hit the like. Feel free to offer some comments if you've ever had a chance to read Larned's work, or if there's one that is particularly appealing to you. I will have information on how to order these in the show notes. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel, because there's so much to see here at FANzine Live, and it's always more fun with more friends. So with that, I thank you for watching, and I will catch you next time.